Hey guys, my name's Andy, as you already know. I'm a recruiter with InRhythm. My practice area is front-end engineering and JavaScript. So I already know what you guys are thinking. Another recruiter. um, and the point of my discussion is I want to let you guys know, as recruiters, what we think and what we look for. So my question to you is, are you an awesome engineer? And I assume that you guys are going to say yes.
Yes.
And this is my next question for you. Do you have proof of this? Now, I know for most engineers that what you consider proof of you being a great engineer is your code. Your GitHub account, your portfolio, whatever projects you've worked on or groups that you've been a part of. And I want you to know from a recruitment standpoint that I don't understand your code. So what I'm looking for as a recruiter is is what makes you awesome. And in order for you to understand what recruiters do and how to communicate with us, is you have to understand that we're not engineers. I can talk to you about React. I can talk to you about Angular. I can talk to you about Java. But do I know Angular? Do I know React? Do I know Java? No. I do know JavaScript a little bit, but not as good as you guys. So what I want you to keep in mind is that as a recruiter, I am not technically assessing you. So we can have conversations about React. You can make up words in the middle of it. You can give me anything as far as code, and I won't know. Well, I'll know, but other recruiters won't know exactly what you're showing them. So I basically want to break that down for you. So, what makes you awesome? Now, of course, like I said, you guys would normally dive into code, but I'm going to answer those questions for you. You guys can ask this question out loud. Hey, awesome. Hey, Andy, how can my shirt says awesome? Hey, Andy, how can I be awesome? Now, from a recruitment standpoint, and I want you guys to know that you have to deal with us. I'm always going to be the stepping stone between you and an engineer. So you have to get past us before you can get to an engineer. And I'm giving you the cheat codes right now. So everybody take out your notepads and start listening up and taking notes, especially you, JP. Don't walk away. One of the biggest things, as far as InRhythm is concerned, and as far as me as a recruiter and our talent team is concerned, is communication. Can you speak? Can you tell your story? Do you know how to communicate with another person? Whether it's technically, whether it's, and obviously the conversation with me, it's going to be borderline both. It's going to be some technical questions, which I don't understand the answers to. And then there's questions that I do understand the answers to. What have you been doing? Where do you live? Where are you trying to live? And, the typical recruitment questions that you would hear. But you want to make sure that when you're going into an interview with a recruiter, is that you know what you want to say and how you want to say it. So part of that is also telling your story. What I'm looking for as a recruiter is, and what I'm telling you is that I can't assess your code. I can't tell whether you're a great engineer from your code. So I'm trying to assess whether you're a great engineer off of key things that I look for in our conversation. So one of the big things is always tell me your story. Where did you come from? Where are you going? How did you get here? I've had countless conversations, and some of these people are in the crowd with people who started off as pharmacists and are now transitioning into code. People who started off as lawyers for 20 years and are now transitioning into code. You want me to remember you. And that's one of the key factors. And what I remember the most is the story. How did you get here? What are you looking to do? Where are you looking to go? And also, where you came from. And the next thing that's also really important is for you to be passionate. I can't tell you how many conversations that I've had with people where everything was just like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Oh, yeah, I know that. And honestly, that's not what I'm looking for. That honestly brings the conversation down for me. Now you're depressing and I'm depressed as well. So we want to avoid that because, obviously you have to get through me before you get to the next person. So be passionate. especially when you tell your story, especially when you speak about your projects, and especially when you talk about your code. Make up some words, throw it in there. That would be great too. And also displaying confidence. That's what I look for as far as when you dive deep and talk about your code, because you guys do it, especially if you're passionate about what you're doing. You're passionate about the projects that you're working on. I should be able to hear that passion from your description of what you've done, what you've been doing, and what you're learning and where you're going with it. So you should always have confidence in what you're saying, but also don't be afraid to say, I don't know. But if you're going to say, I don't know, you better back it up with, I know how to find the information. I know of the concept. I haven't done it before. I don't know just simply isn't a good question, isn't a good answer from an engineer. You guys are problem solvers. If you don't know something, figure out the problem, which is you don't know, so solve it. Where would you get the information? And next is show off. I'm a show off, so it's easy for me. But you guys need to show off as well. You know, you have projects that you've spent months working on, all the time that you spend on coding. Show it off. Show me your portfolio. Show me your GitHub. Show me some code you thought of last night. Show me whatever it is you're working on, because from my recruitment standpoint and from somebody who loves JavaScript, it's exciting for me. And that's what's going to make me remember you as an engineer, as somebody who's trying to go through our process, and someone who's passionate about what they do. But also remember, know your audience again. I don't know the deep dive into code like you guys do. And ask questions. I get people who, like I said earlier, are yes people, who don't have questions, who only have yes, 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 I can do this, I can do that. What I look for as far as the questions I ask is, I want you to tell me no. I want you to tell me I can't do something, and I want you to show me solutions, but I also want you to ask, don't ask me, as far as React, what will I be doing with Redux and how will I be implementing this, or how are you guys with unit testing? I don't know those answers. I can lead you to somebody who does, but I'm not an engineer again. Not to say that you can't ask the questions, but I'm just telling you right now, I don't know the answer. But ask questions about, what's your biggest concerns. Always the project is what you're working on is always going to be a big concern as an engineer. But there's other things that are involved when looking for or going through an interview process. What's the culture like? What's the people like? How do you like it there? How long have you been there? What's attractive about it? How's the area? What's the commute like? There's so many questions that people don't ask that affect the stages of the interview process. You don't want to go through a whole interview and I tell you, hey, the position's in Lower Manhattan and you live in Upper Connecticut, and you're already at the final, you've already interviewed 3 times and you're like, oh shit, I can't make this commute. I'm not making this commute. So definitely ask all the questions that you can. And then at the same time, have fun with it. I do. I love speaking to you guys when I get the chance to, and all the time, because I love seeing the projects. I love going. I'm one of the few recruiters that love going through the code because I'm interested in code myself. So always have fun with it. Realize that you're going to get yeses, you're going to get nos. It's part of the process. But what you're supposed to take from it as an engineer, and what I try to do with all the candidates that I work with, is give you your feedback. And if you don't get your feedback from an interview, that's something that you should fight for. Because as an engineer, how can you learn, how can you grow if you don't know what you're lacking for the positions that you're applying for? So make sure, if you have to reach out to get your feedback, make sure that you always get your feedback, because it's only going to better yourself. And I'm going to start wrapping it up. So now you're probably asking me, Andy, what does a good engineer look like? What does an awesome engineer look like? I'll show you. These are some awesome engineers over there. At InRhythm, we always try to hire the best. We always want somebody who's going to be a bar raiser, who's going to take us to the next level. So not only are we looking for cultural fits, not only are we looking for communication skills, but we're looking for somebody who's going to add on to this collage. Somebody who's gonna want to grow with us, be a part of us, and learn and grow as an engineer at the same time. Now, one of our best engineers, Pip, he couldn't be with us today, but he's more on a consulting kind of basis, so he comes in and out every once in a while. And also, Sid's not an engineer, but look her up on Instagram; she's famous. So to wrap it up. I just wanted you guys to know, from a recruitment standpoint, you guys, you have to go through us, So one of those things that you have to show us, and that you should be good at, that's only going to move you forward in life, is being able to communicate, relate, and have discussions with other people. Most people have the idea that coders are people who put their headphones in, don't speak, and get behind the keyboard and just do what they do. That's not what we look for here. We certainly look for people who are going to talk, who are going to speak up, who are going to contribute, and people that I can grab a beer with. For all of those who are not InRhythm employees, if you need to reach out to me, I'm right there.
All right.